Hello my friends and welcome to my studio, Open Studio D, and I'm Vlad Milan Duchev, and today's episode is all about materials. If you want to start painting in acrylic, I'll tell you what materials do you need to have in your studio or in plein air, whatever you're painting, whatever your style or whatever you want to do. All the materials, the minimum, the basic materials or basic set of materials that you need to start painting in acrylic. All right, so let's get started.
Here we go!
So the set of materials will base on where you want to paint. If you want to paint in plein air or you want to paint in studio. But to be honest, it really doesn't matter where you want to paint. The set that we're going through right now, all the materials that will go right now is based on basically the minimum requirements that you can take to plein air, or you can keep it in your studio or whatever, in your basement, whatever you're painting on. You can have this set and use it for acrylic painting. The only thing you will need for painting in acrylic in plein air is just a backpack. So you can put all these materials in the backpack and travel wherever you want to travel to paint. So the first category is the surfaces. The acrylic surfaces, or actually surfaces that will receive acrylic paint. Now, since acrylic paint is a water base, for example, if you want to paint in oil, you can paint on acrylic, but you can paint on oil surfaces like oil primer surfaces. Now with acrylic, you want to paint only on water-based primers or water-based, whatever is covered, the surface. So it should be water-based because acrylic is a water-based. It's like a watercolor, like a little bit different than watercolor, but it's water-based. So you want to make sure when you're purchasing panels or canvases or whatever you decided to paint on, you want to make sure, and this is very specific because you can spend time painting and 6 months later you will see the cracks, discoloring, and just basically paint will be peeling from the surface. So you don't want to do that, right? You don't want to experience that. So saying that, you want to make sure when you're ordering your panels from any art suppliers, you want to make sure that the surface is primed with a water-based primer. It could be water-based gesso, it could be acrylic-based gesso, could be acrylic, could be anything, but make sure it's water-based. What I would recommend is, if you want to buy, let's say, panels, or you want to buy plywood even from Home Depot, cut it in small pieces and use some kind of primer. Yes, you can do it, and you can prime using gesso, acrylic or water-based, any gesso, or you can use this. This is what I recommend, and again, I'm not advertising this based on how much I'm getting stuff from this brand. I purchase everything and I have no connection with this company. So anyway, it's Michael Harding non-absorbent acrylic, and it comes with different sizes, and it also comes with different colors. For example, this is a clear primer. For example, I have here the stretch canvas that I'm prepared to work on, and it has rabbit skin glue as a first layer, a couple layers, and then on top this clear non-absorbent primer. I can actually use this primer without even rabbit skin glue. I can put it right on the canvases. So highly recommend. And you can use different surfaces. You can use stretch canvases. You can use panels like this, and something like this. You can use panels like this, and this is 3/4. You can use panels like this. This is 1/2 inch, 1.5 inch, like a gallery wrap. What is very important is make sure the surface is water-based primed. For example, one surface that you can use without any primer is just a paper. And please, if you're buying a paper, which is, it's less expensive than just canvases, but I want to make sure this is not ready for oil, it is just for watercolor. And you can use acrylic on watercolor paper, absolutely. Make sure it's just a heavy duty paper. You can buy something like this from, this is from Ampersand. Ampersand, yes. They actually sell paper glued to the panel. You can use this. You can actually buy the panels like this with no surface and use this primer and prime the surface, and it will be ready for acrylic. You can buy canvases like this, you know, not stretch or stretch canvas with no primer. Put, same Michael Harding primer or gesso and get ready for painting. Any surfaces will be absolutely fine. To be honest, I'm using this even though if I'm buying canvases with primer gesso. Gesso is gonna sink a lot of water. It's really hard to work in my style, so I'm using this as a non-absorbent primer. So when I work, it's not really absorbing any moisture, so it's vaporizing. And I like it because it's drying more effectively and there are so many benefits. But my point for right now is the surfaces. You can use any surfaces. Make sure the surface is water-based primed. Okay, so next category is brushes. Very important. You need to use the brushes. So what kind of brushes do you need? I would recommend 3 kinds of brushes. The first one is just simple Home Depot, the cheapest brush that you can buy for like 50 cents in Home Depot. Yes, this is very effective brush. The first time when you're applying acrylic like a wash or underpainting, this is the greatest thing because this not going to, you're not going to paint the surface with like solid cover. That's not what you want. You want to make sure you have, variations on when you're covering it. This brush is just absolutely a must for any acrylic. Small one or big one, it depends on how big is your canvas or surface you're painting or painting you're working on. For example, this is, I'm not sure, this is like 1500. I mean, Home Depot or Lowe's or any home improvement stores. But this is excellent brush. I have maybe, I don't know how many, maybe 50 of these brushes. I'm buying in the bulk, like in the packages, like boxes. And you use it first time, don't even start to clean, just throw it away. So the second one, and we're going from hard to soft brushes. The second one I would recommend, I'm using a lot of Rosemary and Company brushes. I think those brushes are the best in our industry, in art industry. I just love this brush, and particularly this is ivory brushes. I would recommend just maybe several flats brushes and maybe not even round. The round brush, I will show you what I'm using and I recommend this. So 2, like for example, this is number 8 and number 1. So one brush is number 8 and another brush, small brush, is number 1. This will cover everything that you need if you work on a big painting, if you work on the small paintings. So those 2 brushes, number 8 and number 1. So this will be right in the middle between Bristol brush and soft brushes. Those, Acrylics by Rosemary, or you can do there's any other. It's a synthetic. Make sure it's synthetic. It's not soft, very soft, but it's not really hard. So it's somewhere in between. Synthetic brush, and then another one. We're going to soft brushes. So the soft brushes, I'm using, again, it's Rosemary and brushes. And I don't get anything from them. I'm advertising them because these are the best brushes, in my opinion. And they have so much, very big variety. You just cover everything. You don't need to go anywhere. So basically, the soft brushes that you need, next one it's a Series 222. And it's golden something, I forgot it. But it's Series 222, 222, 222. So I would probably recommend just one, and it's 1 inch. Here's 1 inch. I have one that I'm using all the time. Right here, it's beaten up already. See the handle, this handle. So you can compare this handle and this handle. So this is beaten up, this is I would say this is like 3 years old brush. Still working, no issues, still soft. A little bit, if you bend a little bit harder here at the core, this will be very soft. But still, 3 years, it's great. Not very expensive, but must have brush for acrylic. I mean, I have all the sizes. I have 1 inch, 1.5, I think. Yeah, 1.5, 2, and this is 3. Yeah, 3 inches. But this is mostly, when I'm going on plein air, I use 1 inch and 1.5. This is it. I would take these 2 brushes, nothing else. For you, I would say just one to start. Just 1 inch Series 222 Rosemary & Company brush. And then finally, we're going to round brushes. And this is by Rosemary. But again, you didn't have to buy Rosemary. So you need to get the hard brush, something like Bristol, this from Home Depot. And then next one is synthetic. You can get it from anywhere. Synthetic, it's somewhere in the middle. And then the soft brushes. And I recommend this golden by Rosemary, or maybe you can buy or find something else. Make sure it's just 1 inch, and it's soft. It's so very, very soft. And then next one is the round brushes. You need to round brushes for like detail work and everything else. So I'm using Rosemary, and it's Series 313. It's same golden as this one, this brush, but it's just rounded, and it's short handle, very comfy and very stable. So it's not doing this when you wash it first time. It just stays intact, and I just love this brush. It's very, very soft. If you can see, it's very, very soft, perfect for acrylic paint. So basically, if you want, you need to have this brush, you need to have these 2 brushes, this and this. So basically, this is what you need in your backpack or in your studio to start painting. Bristol brush from Home Depot, then I would recommend 2 ivory brushes from Rosemary, or any synthetic, the keyword synthetic, hard brush, or it's actually it's between, it's right in the middle between this and this brushes, synthetic semi-hard brushes. Then we're going to soft brushes, synthetic soft brush, not watercolor. So this is for, you can use this for watercolor as well. I know a lot of watercolorists using this brush, but this is for acrylic. You won't be able to use this for oil unless you dilute oil like a water. And then finally, so this is square 1 inch brush. And then finally going to the round brush. This is number 6, Series 313, size 6. You can get number 4. It's a little bit smaller, but I found in my style what I do, 6 is just enough. So those are the brushes that you need to start painting in acrylic. That's all about brushes. Now, one small thing that you need to have to wash and clean your brushes. Now, this is water-based medium acrylic, so you can use basically just water to clean. What I would recommend is clean your brushes when you finish painting. Don't, because this is acrylic. You cannot reactivate it if you forgot, let's say in 30 minutes or 1 hour. You won't be able to reactivate it. It will be dry and it's done. So always put your brushes in the water, and there is already another video how to use, how to paint in acrylic, techniques, how to use materials actually when you paint in acrylic. It's a little bit different from oil. You have to always remember the acrylic is drying. In order to clean the brushes, you can use water and soap. I highly recommend this soap. This is the Masters soap. You can buy it from Michael's. You can buy it from any supply houses. It's just specific for, you can clean oil brushes, you can clean acrylic brushes. Now you will say, why do I need this soap? I can use any soap. This is actually not only cleaner, this is actually conditioner as well. I learned that if I use just a soap, dishwash soap or any soap, my brush is doing this right away. It's just spreading. If I use this will condition your brushes, the hair on the brushes, and it will stay like a new. That's why probably this brush is good for already 3 years, because I'm constantly using the Masters soap to clean the brushes. Highly recommend. Again, I'm not on payroll with this this company. I just recommend because this is one of the best product in our industry. I use this for probably past 10 years, and all my brushes, I mean, I keep in brushes for very, very long. All right, highly recommend. Let's go to the next category. So next category is acrylic paint. The tubes that you need to buy to start painting acrylic, right? So I would recommend something like this. It's a Liquitex. You can buy it from any supply stores, art supply stores. It's a good starter, absolutely good starter. I have several tubes that I use if I need something like, quick studies or drawn like no-tan. This is paint gray, and I have a black just for no-tans. I don't want to use this just, because it's a study. So that's a little bit cheaper than this, and probably 50% cheaper. So I'm using this as my no-tans or studies or small things. I recommend this Liquitex to start. If you want something more professional, I would highly recommend Cinelaire, made in France. One of the best, in my opinion, one of the best acrylic paint. Winsor & Newton, also very, very stable. Love this paint. Holbein is another. Probably those three acrylics. Utrecht is another good brand to start. It's relatively old, in the same category of how much they are loaded with pigments, but also the price. The price is kind of more on the expensive side. But, everything these days are expensive. So this is the brands that I would recommend. You can watch the previous video, one of the best acrylic brands on the market. And I explain what I'm using and why I'm using it. So probably the question will be what tubes you want to buy. It will depend on your subject and what you paint and what you want to paint and what kind of paintings you will be working on. The subject matter and everything else. If you paint nocturnes or you paint landscapes, or you still life, it's all based on your palette that you want to have on your palette. Tubes, the colors that you want to buy first for acrylic, I would recommend the primaries, and then small variety of different colors. One recommendation I will give to you if you're starting: don't get a lot of colors. Just stick to no more than 8 colors. 3 primaries or 6 primaries. 3 primaries times 2 cool and warm. That will be your 6, and then 2 other that you want to add. I would probably recommend adding more on blue side, because you can mix blue with those primaries and get some different shades of the colors. But no more than 8 to start. Then you can, when you learn how to mix those 8, you can start adding additional color to start learning how that color behave. Because the whole thing is about paint and the colors is how to mix, what you can mix, what you cannot mix, and how to mix, the amounts and everything. That will take time to learn, and you need to learn mixing. All right, so this is all about the paint, acrylic paint, what to buy and what not to buy. All right, let's move to the next one. So the next category is where to mix your paint. We call it mixing service or palettes. So there's several options what you can use to mix your acrylic. One option is just a butcher tray, and this is what I'm using, and I highly recommend because it's very easy to clean. When you're mixing, it's behaving very well on surface. It's called butcher tray. I have several actually. I have a big one, I have a small one. This is one I use for travel when I paint in plein air. Instead of using a big tray like this, which like when I work on big canvases and I need mixing, and especially when I'm underpainting, so I have to work and mix a lot of colors for underpainting. Instead of like washing this small one, constantly. I'm just using this. But majority of the time I'm using this. This is more than enough. Plus this is good for plein air. As I said, it's a very easy to clean, and it's a solid because it's a metal. Now what I would recommend for this one is container like this, where you can, this is just a container, simple container, which size for my butcher's tray. And what normally I do, because it's acrylic and you cannot leave it with oil, you can leave it for next day to paint because it's gonna dry right away. If I squeezed a lot of paint and I don't want to wash it or clean it, I will just put this in this container, the tray in the container, put a lid on top and just put it in the fridge. And next morning, and I will spray it a little bit of water, and next day I can pull it out. It can be good for a couple days. So that's one solution. Another solution is wax paper. So this is just a wax paper. You can buy, this is from Jerry's Artorama. This is palette, paper palette they call it, but it's actually wax paper. I normally buy the big ones, like 16 by 20, cut it in half and use this as my palette. If I like on hurry, I don't want to, pull this tray and then wash it. What I will do, I will just quickly mix on this, and then after this, just peel it out, throw it away, and you clean. All you need to do is just clean your brushes. All right. So this is another option to use as your palette surface to mix your color. You can also use a glass or vinyl, but the vinyl glass will be fine. This is what I have in my studio, and sometimes I mix right on the glass. But what I found is, if you leave it, it's very hard to clean. You're spending more time cleaning glass because it dries. And I normally use this glass for oil. So if I'm working on acrylic, I just put this tray on top of my glass palette and just use this. If I need to use oil, I will just remove this and mix right on the glass. All right. So this is basically my recommendation for mixing surfaces. And this is great because you can easily put in your backpack, and if you want to travel, you have it. All right. So that's it. There's other surfaces that maybe I don't know, but this is what I use and this is what I recommend. Just butcher's tray or paper. Okay, so let's go to the next one. So the next category is you mixing your colors on butcher's tray with the brushes we discussed, painting on the surfaces we discussed. Now you need actual water, right? Because acrylic is a water-based color. And you need water to dilute or clean your brushes, and it's critical to clean your brushes right away because the brush will be drying, especially when you work outside on with wind and sun hitting your palette and brushes. It's gonna dry like crazy, really fast. So we want to make sure when you apply, use your brush on the canvas, you want to dip it into water or leave it in water. So several things that you will need to have painting in an acrylic regardless. So if you paint in the plein air, you paint in the studio, I would recommend this. You can use any container. You can use like glass bottle or plastic container or metal container, anything you want. But I would recommend using this. So this is a special container for water, and it has cleaner for the brushes and holder for the brushes right here. That's the holders for the brushes. Right here you can put the brush something like this in the water, and it sits inside and it's not moving. So it's very easy to use. I don't know how many ounces this container can have of water, but I normally, for one painting, let's say 16 by 16, even 24 by 24, it depends on the subject matter you're painting and the color, palette. But normally just one set of water, one round is enough. I rarely use two, just one. It's enough. You can use this container, or you can use small one. and this is if you work on the small paintings, because this will be, you have to change water constantly. It's collapsible, so you can basically collapse it, and it's a cup. Sometimes I'm using it. It's by actually Faber and Castell. You can buy it from any supply collapsible cup for water. This is mostly for like small studies. Will be enough. You'll be probably replacing it, even if you work on, let's say, 12 by 12, you will be replacing this cup maybe 4 times. That's why I prefer this, because it's much more water in this. But it's a collapsible, low profile. If you're traveling, that's probably one of the best. I would probably recommend, if you're doing this and you have the surface, put a magnet right here and put a magnet on your surface where you're keeping the your stuff. So make sure you're not knocking it out. Or you can use like tray like this, and this is from Plein Air Pro. I'm actually advertising a competitor. I'll tell you why. So this is what I'm using when I'm painting. This is where I'm keeping my tray, the butcher's tray, and I'm normally put this right here, like this. But if I'm traveling, what I can do is collapse the cup, and it's perfectly going. It's designed for this. So if you can see it, you can put it inside this special cut. We actually at Art Pro Easel, we're working on making the same, not from plastic, from plywood, with the same kind of hole on the brush holder. So it will be not the same as this one, but similar to this. So you will be able to buy it actually on Art Pro Easel. But this is, this is a cup of water that you need that could go right here. So I love this stuff, but I would love Art Pro Easel much better. And finally, when you have, your containers for your water, this or any other stuff, you will need one thing. You will need your spray. Small spray, you can get them anywhere. There's like tons of sprays. You can buy it on Amazon. You can buy it at art supply stores, anywhere. This one actually I bought from Holbein, Artist Watercolor spray. It's a small profile. I actually have even smaller, like twice smaller than, and another one bigger. So I'm using it all the time. I don't even use big ones, because this will be enough for one set of painting. I mean, I have maybe 1/3 used, and I used it yesterday when I was working on one painting. So it's good for 3 paintings. Basically, if you're using tray, you squeeze your paint and you just spray like on the surface, on the top of the piles of paint, just spray water. And then 10 minutes later, you feel it start a little bit drying, you just spray again, and just keep spraying until you're done painting, basically, just to protect your acrylic drying. When I'm painting outside, I have a lot of times people come to me and start talking, and when I'm talking, and this is the most question that people ask, because I'm talking to people and they turn around and grab my spray, and I just spray the paint, and like after 2-3 times people will ask me, what are you doing? And it's like, I'm talking to you, so I need to protect because I'm not painting, I'm talking. My paint is drying, so I need to protect it. So this is the spray. That's the reason you're using spray, just to protect your paint drying fast. So you're using it just a little bit, and you will see by using it, like every time you're using it, how much to spray to protect it, based on weather, based on humidity outside, even inside. So it's not like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. You have to learn it. All right. So this is for water treatment, how you treat water. And sometimes some artists, I know, they have 2 basins or 2 containers of water, one to clean your brush, it's kind of dirty water, and then another one just the final, so make sure it's clean. I never use it. I always use just one, because I want this dirty, I don't want it clean. I want it dirty. So one container is more than enough. And the final items that you will need in your list of materials to start painting is, of course, paper towel. most important thing, the paper towel. You're going to use this paper towel not to dry brushes, because every time you dip your brush and clean your brush in water, you need to clean it and dry it, because the water management of the brush, how much that brush holds the water, is very, very important. And that's something that you can learn on, probably on the workshops. By the way, I will be doing workshops on how to paint in acrylic, so keep tuned. I will announce it in one of the YouTube's videos, and you will have a link to register. Water management will be the huge part of the workshops, because that's very, very important. One of the biggest failure on a lot of artists that try into acrylic, they just, oh, I don't like acrylic because it's just messy. It's not messy. It's a beautiful medium. It just, lack of knowledge of how much water you need to, like in the watercolor, the same thing. It's a water management. How much water do you need to apply to acrylic to keep it alive? So the paper towel is very important. You can use paper towel, you can use rag, you can use anything that absorbs water. You can use sponge if you want, but to be honest, I'm not using this sponge, even though it's probably a cool thing to dry because it's going to absorb a lot of water. My thing is I'm using paper towel all the time. Just have it. I mean, I'm going through paper towels like crazy in acrylic or in oil. But not only you're gonna dry the brush, but also you can use this paper towel to smear the acrylic on the surface when you're working. That's one of the best kind of tool, like a brush on its own. And of course, another thing I forgot to mention is something to draw your subject, right? A lot of people saying that, please do not use graphite pencil. Well, people, friends, artists, this is exactly what I'm using. And I never had a problem, because when you paint in acrylic is going to cover this panel. It's not going to melt, it's not going to make mess. Yes, if it's heavy duty, like you apply too much of graphite, yes, of course it's gonna, you have to wipe it a little bit and not overuse it, but pencil is important. Pencil, and I would recommend those, who paint or draw in pencil, those erasers that you can, I forgot what's the name of it, but it's like a Play-Doh. So this will, when you do a drawing, you can wipe it, and it's wiped pretty good. It will take this, the first surface that is gonna make that mess with your. It's not gonna make with acrylic. Acrylic is gonna cover it, so don't even bother. Just don't put too much of graphite on your canvas surface. Okay, this is it. This is basically all you need for start painting in acrylic. Of course, you will need some easel or something to put. You can, to put your canvas or surface. Something like have behind. For plein air, of course, you have to use Art Pro easels, because that's good things to use. I'm promoting. Am I promoting it? Yes, of course I'm promoting, because I'm part of it. So Art Pro easel there is 3, small, medium, and traveler, and actually 4: large, medium, small, and traveler options, from big, very big, to small. And then we're gonna probably announce next month the tray that I show you for acrylic and for the water cup. This is it. You can, for the easels, you can use anything. You can, if you didn't have, and you started, you can put, sit on the table and put something behind the box and put your canvas against it. You don't need to go crazy and, buy crazies and load it. Try it first. Try if you like it. If you don't like it, just move to another medium, or maybe photography, or maybe sculpture, or maybe just watching, football games. Is a football games for art? Probably not. All right, anyway, so you have any questions, please shoot me a text message, email me, or ask right here at YouTube. Normally reply within 24 hours. For all my subscribers, thank you very much. Let me know what you want to see, what you want to watch, actually, not to see it, but to watch, what subject, if you have any interest or questions or whatever. And for new people that are watching this video, thank you very much for joining us. And please subscribe, hit the bell, hit the like, and stay tuned. We have a really good community. And one of the best things that I always saying that when I'm painting in plein air on those competitions, and you guys come to me and say, hey Vlad, we're watching a video, and this is the best time I have when I'm painting. Sometimes I actually go on an event and hoping somebody will, come and say hi. All right, so do it. All right, this is it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.